Katera Rising by J.D. Evergreen. Chapter 25. Loss, Secrets, and a Heavy Burden.
You're saying that when the guards attacked us in the rebel headquarters, someone told them where we were, and that specifically Claire was there?
Melissa recaps. Lexa perches on the rock next to me.
It is the only explanation for how they disabled our defense systems and attacked at one of the few times we were unprepared.
Tash gapes at us.
It would only take a few well-placed crystals to send a continuous stream of everything important that took place within the rebel camp to Darkmor.
Lucas shakes his head.
But how did he find us? Most rebels don't ever leave the compound, and they are brought there in secrecy. Very few could find their way back to it.
I shake my head slowly. The missing chimera.
What about it?
Melissa asked. They are used for tracking, I say. It could have led the army right to us. Silence settles over us, and I look at Lexa. My heart thumps in my chest. I finger the necklace hidden in my pocket and say, the cave-in with the chimera, our meeting with the elders, our late evening in the mess hall. Lexa rubs her face.
Darkmor could very well know we have 2 of the gems already.
The Quelton nods.
Darkmor may be aware of the gems, but there is a good chance he doesn't understand their significance.
She dumps Arnita's bag on the ground, and a small tin rolls out.
From what my ancestors recall, he wasn't a good student, and this drove his master into blind rages.
Lexa gives the Quelton a small smile.
That adds a small spark of hope, but we cannot run off it. We must assume he knows. To underestimate him could lead to our doom.
I lean forward and pick up the tin that rolled out of Arnita's old bag. Slowly I unscrew the lid, and a skin-coloured cream fills about half of the small tin. I poke at it experimentally, and it sticks to my finger. I rub the cream between my fingers, and it blends in with my skin, covering a small scar on my finger.
Keep it. It will cover the scar on your face well.
Miss Q announces. I jump, not realizing my explorations had been closely watched. I mumble a thank you as I slide the small tin into my pocket beside the healing paste that now lives there. A whistle sounds in the distance, and my stomach twists. I glance at the smothered fire, and relief surges through me. It is good that the rest of my group cooked earlier.
They have expanded their search.
Lexa comments. Lucas chews his nail as he peeks into the dim cavern.
I think they really want Claire.
Miss Q looks up at the cavern roof above us.
We should sleep amongst the ferns. I doubt they will find us here, but there is no sense in risking it.
I climb to my feet and stretch. Lexa smiles at the group.
Get comfortable under the ferns by the bathing pool. I will join you presently. I have some fishing lines to inspect.
I move with the rest of the group, but stop when Miss Q calls out.
Claire, could you please help me carry these?
I turn to eye the small pile of belongings Miss Q had retrieved from her wagons. With her super speed, she had probably gathered all of this before Lex and I had even made it up here. I nod and begin stacking items inside a half-filled crate. Miss Q set about stuffing items into the now ownerless backpack. I am about to lift the crate when a soft, furry paw touches my arm.
Claire, do you know what Darkmor wants you for?
Miss Q asks. I shake my head. I have no idea. I assume it is because I escaped. I pause and eye the Quelton. He took my mother just before I left. Something about an investigation regarding her lineage. And the goblins who captured us said something about a ritual. Miss Q nods.
I suspected as much.
I pause.
I am so sorry about your mother.
My blank face seems to prompt the Quelton into an explanation.
My theory is that you are part of the bloodline that defeated the sorcerer and used magic to banish him down here.
My family has no magic, I mutter. Miss Q raises an eyebrow.
And how do you suppose you have been activating that magical crystal of yours?
I swallow. We don't know. The Quelton hoists the bag onto her back.
Whether or not you are part of that particular bloodline, it is evident magic once existed in your family. It is possible it has been dormant until you...
I silently lift the crate. Is my family magical? It doesn't seem possible. Suddenly, I am reminded of my mother's claim that she is clairvoyant. Maybe it wasn't just intuition? Miss Q leads me through the ferns and into a low, overhanging cave.
When a powerful spell is cast,
She continues,
that persists through the death of a caster, there is a blood bond. If Darkmor were to break this spell, his magic would spread like a plague throughout the world.
I nod and place the crate down beside her backpack before we head back to the clearing to collect the rest of her stuff. Miss Q twists her hands.
The only thing that can break a blood bond is the same blood that began it. This blood must come from a living being.
I stop short. You're saying Darkmor wants me for my blood? I shake my head and keep going. But he already has my mother. If living blood is all he wants, then why would he try so hard to get me? Unless... The blood runs from my face and I sit down hard. No, I murmur. Miss Q crouches beside me and gently rubs her paw in circles on my back.
I am so sorry,
she repeats again. No, I beg. It can't be true. I look up at Miss Q and her solemn face. A terrible pain flows through my chest and tears sting my eyes. Gone. Just like that, no more conversations. I will never see her warm smile again. I conjure an image of my mother's face in my mind and pain flares through my chest, spilling out of me in my tears. I do my best to memorize her face, her blue eyes, brown hair, and everything about her. I put my face in my hands and tears flow unchecked. It cannot be possible. Not my strong, willful mother. What did they do to her? I force air into my lungs and attempt some composure, but anger replaces my grief as the reason for my loss burns through me. They killed my mother, all for a twisted being's grab for more power. I wipe my eyes furiously. I will kill anyone who put their hands on her, I swear it. Miss Q presses a small thumbnail-sized tube into my hand.
I know you're going through a lot right now, but I need you to listen to me.
I wipe my face, but the silent tears keep coming. My heart aches like someone has stepped on it, and misery flows around me like water in the stream. I take a deep breath and look up at the Quilton. Her eyes are filled with tears too.
I am sorry I must ask this of you, especially now.
She pauses.
In this tube is an extremely potent powder. It is quick and relatively painless. If you are ever captured by Darkmor and there is no hope for escape.
You want me to kill myself? I cut in with a dead voice. Miss Q looks at the ground.
If there is no other option, yes.
I look at the small tube in my hand, my death in a tiny pocket-sized capsule. How convenient.
Ideally, I want you to survive, to vanquish Darkmor completely. After connecting with you, you're one of the few humans I like, but Darkmor's magic cannot be allowed to spread.
I hold up the tube. If I take this, your hope for freedom will be lost too. Miss Q hangs her head.
I know.
She lets her statement hang in the air between us for a minute.
But right now,
she says quietly,
his power is limited within these cavern walls, just as his master's was, if he gets out.
I stare at the moss at my feet. He will end the world with his darkness. I finish.
Claire,
calls Lex's voice through the ferns. I stuff the metal cylinder into my pocket and pin the Quilton with a look. Lexa will never hear from you about this capsule. The Quilton bows her head.
Of course, you have my word.
I'm over here, I call out into the dim cavern. Lexa enters the clearing with a filled crate.
When I came back, I saw you two leaving and thought I would bring up the last of it.
She catches sight of my tear-streaked face and stops dead.
Claire, are you all right?
The tears that I had been barely keeping down resurface, and I cover my face in my hands. Lexa is beside me in an instant. I don't even have time to flinch before her arms are around me, warm, steady, safe. I sink into her, my body trembling. She's solid, unshaken, like she can hold the weight of all my grief without breaking. I bury my face in her shoulder, clutching the fabric of her shirt, failing, to hold back the sobs. My body shakes with the force of it, and still Lexa doesn't let go. My ear is pressed against her chest, and I feel her voice rumble as she addresses Miss Q.
What happened?
She demands. I pause.
We have strong reason to believe Claire's mother has passed into the next world,
Miss Q says gently,
and that Darkmor is unable to complete his blood ritual without the living blood of Claire's family.
Lexa squeezes me closer, her arms a protective barrier from anything that may cause me further pain.
We will discuss this more later,
Lexa says, her voice firm.
For now, would you mind leaving us?
Of course.
Comes Miss Q's voice, accompanied by the soft sounds of feet on moss fading into the distance. I cry my pain into Lexa's shoulder while she holds me. I hurt so bad. I feel as if I have suffered a wound that will never heal. She begins to hum a soft, quiet tune with a beautiful voice. I quiet my cries as I focus on the sound. Slowly her humming turns into a song. I listen quietly as she sings a wonderful song about rainbows, bluebirds, and dreams coming true. Her song ends and I pull away, wiping my face. That was beautiful. Lexa's ears turn a light shade of pink.
It is something my mother used to sing to me. It always gave me hope.
Thank you for sharing it, I mumble. Lexi climbs to her feet and offers me her hand.
Should we return to the others?
I give her a weak smile and take her hand. Is it an old song?
My mother always said so. She claimed it was one from the world before ours.
I nod. I too had heard of the world that existed long before ours. Some people claim the monsters that almost destroyed our world are our ancestors. There was one man who shared my cell for a while who was particularly against the previous users of our planet. He would often rant about the world above, even claiming there were still dead zones from the war that wiped the previous inhabitants out. But after hearing that song, is it possible they weren't all bad? We traipse through the undergrowth, and I suspect Lexa is taking us the long way back so I can have time to compose myself. We enter the clearing and find the others scattered under the largest ferns, sleeping in small groups. Unwilling to draw attention to myself, I locate an unoccupied fern and curl up underneath it. I stare up at the underside of leaves and watch small white insects travel backward and forward in single file. Lexa settles down beside me, and I push all thoughts of my mother from my brain. I cannot allow this to consume me. There will be plenty of time for that after we complete our mission. My fingers find the little silver cylinder in my pocket. Or maybe there won't be. Wow, talk about a heavy burden. As if Claire didn't have enough to deal with, now she's got a deadly silver pill in her pocket and a target on her back. No pressure, right? What do you think about Miss Q's offer? Was it practical or just another weight on Claire's already overflowing plate? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you're enjoying Katera Rising, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next chapter. New chapters drop every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll see you in the next one.